how do we find the P when given F? Okay, again, we still have two methods. One is equation, one is table methods. And the equation is, wow, it looks very long, hard to remember. But let's apply that to this example, okay? So the equation tells you the present value. If you want to find the present value of a given f, I, and m, you want to have the f times this term, okay? So now the question is, an investor has an option to purchase a tract of land that will be worth 10,000. So that's your future value, because it's in 6 years. If the value of the land increases at 8%, that's your I, each year, how much should the investor be willing to pay now? So that's the present value, unknown. So yes, you want to use this equation. So P is F times 1 plus I to the power of negative n. And F is 10,000. I is 8%. N is 6. Okay, so 6 years, that's your N. So the P is F, we just substitute the values, okay? So 10,000 times 1 plus 8% to the power of negative 6. Okay, and this is 10,000 times 1.08 to the power of negative 6. 1.08 to the power of negative 6 is 0.63017. So this will give you 6,302 US dollars. That's your present value. That's the price you want to pay. You want to pay this as the maximum price, okay? You want to, of course, you want to negotiate, and then you want to pay less than that so that you can gain some value from this piece of land. Also, we can use the table method. Okay, look at this equation. This is also a term somebody can, calculate for you in advance. Okay, they just use different combination of I and n. And so that you can write this as f, the future value, times a factor. But here, this factor is going to be written in another term. Okay, so what term? You can imagine that. It's gonna be to find P given F, I, and N. That's just the term we have learned before to simplify that scenario, right? So it's not a big deal for you. And then the next thing is, how do you find out the value of this factor? Of course, you use the table in the appendix C, okay? So let's use this example, the same example of buying a piece of land, okay? So here you have future value given, which is 10,000, N is 6, interest rate I is 8%, and what you want to find out is the P. Okay, so in the table method, you want to find out the factor of this. For this problem, how do you find it out? First, you need to find out which table to use. As what I said, you always find out the table for the same I. So I equals to 8, that's the table you want to use. And then you check the column heads, okay? You want to find the P given F, so P slash F. So is it this column? No. Is it this column, P/F? Yes. So that's the column you want to look at. Now you need to find out the row. And the row determined by the number of periods. So the n is 6. So you find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the row you look at. So now you look at this column and this row, that will give you this cell. So that's the factor, the value of this, the factor of this problem. So you calculate this as P is F times the factor P given F for I equals to 8%, N equals to 6. That's the factor you're looking at, okay? And then F is 10,000, and that factor is 0.6302. So you got $6,302 as the present value, as the price you want to pay at most, okay? So compare this to this value, that's the same. So both way works. And usually we want to use the table method. So right now I want you to pause and try to practice to find out the right table for the example and to find out the right column, the right row to look at so that you can find that exact factor and then use this factor method to calculate your present value or your future value, okay? So using this table is very important.